everybody. Welcome to Manifest 2024. This is OmniTalk Retail. I'm Ann Mazinga.
And I'm Chris Walton.
And today we are coming to you live from our very own booth here at Manifest.
Yes.
It's our first live stream of the day.
First one of the day.
And we are very fortunate to be interviewing, standing between us, the Senior Director of Strategy and Strategy for E-commerce from DHL, Drew Taranto. Drew, did I say your last name right?
You did great.
Oh,
I was really impressed right out of the gate.
I was reading it and I was like, I'm gonna go with the city.
Yeah, usually we check that, but we forgot this time.
No,
but yes,
I'm very impressed.
We're just rolling.
Yeah,
on
that's
this one.
awesome.
Nice.
We're just rolling
I love
on
it.
this one.
So Drew, and thanks to Manifest for asking us to come out here and do all these interviews. We couldn't be more excited. Third time at the show, and third time is the charm, right, Ann? Isn't that the saying?
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
remember.
It's the third Manifest,
Yeah.
so we've been there. We're growing with the show.
We're growing
and
with
it's
the
been
show.
So fun
yes.
to see. So.
Some of us in more ways than one, especially if you look at the LBs on me. But anyway, Drew. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background. Tell us about your job as well, because there's definitely some intricacies in talking with you about that we've learned about. So, yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. So, what's funny is no kid thinks during career day that they're going to get into logistics.
No, that's true. That's
Yes,
very
yeah.
true,
They
yes.
like the trucks.
They like the trucks, but then if you think about it, getting into it.
It's
so,
YouTube influencer, then logistics provider.
Yes,
That's their career
exactly
goals?
right.
Yeah, right.
So when I got into college and actually got my degree in logistics, it was kind of a wild
Got a
ride.
degree in
Yeah,
logistics.
so I really kind of went all in on it.
Wow.
So coming out of school, I actually joined Ryder Supply Chain, and that
Okay.
was my kind of first opportunity to really get into the field.
Interesting.
And
okay.
really get to see what supply chain was about, what a warehouse was, what a truck was, how
Yeah.
it all worked, and spent a lot of time in operations, and that's kind of where I learned the field.
Wait, that was your first time getting into it? Like,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you got into logistics, but you had no experience
No
with
idea.
trucks or
Yeah.
anything like that?
First
Wow.
day of work, I was in a workshop, and they started talking about warehouses and slotting, and I said, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Wow.
And it kind of progressed from there, and so I spent a lot of time with Ryder, really enjoyed my time there. Opportunity presented itself to join basically a global manufacturing company
Yep.
where I actually fell into strategy.
Okay.
And that was my opportunity to learn kind of business and strategy and innovation. And then an opportunity presented itself at DHL, which
Okay.
was where I'm at now. I've been here about 4.5 years, really working with our North American business and supply chain, really helping support all of our growth initiatives. And today, what I really help support is our strategy and product development team within e-commerce, where we're really trying to drive our growth agenda and helping support our customers both in an omni-channel and e-commerce environment.
So explain what that means within e-commerce, like particularly. Go a little more in depth in that. What does exactly that mean day to day?
So for DHL supply chain specifically, think of us as a contract provider in
Mhm.
logistics space.
Okay.
Inside the four walls, processing and helping support fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
So my team is in there. We are pick, pack, and shipping for major brands and retailers, helping support their e-commerce business
Got
for
it.
that
So
direct-to-consumer
you support
piece.
the vertical in that effort.
Yes.
Got it.
So you are managing the teams that are in the warehouses moving all the goods back and
So
forth.
for me specifically, I'm part of a larger team. Operations is a big component of the team that I work with.
Right.
But my team specifically is really working towards really the cutting edge, future-facing capability projects that we need within e-commerce. So if you think about e-commerce, really obviously fulfillment is a big component of it.
Yep.
But there's other parts of it. There's last mile delivery, which is
Right.
a huge piece of
Right.
it. There's returns, right? One of the
Yes.
most neglected pieces of the
Mhm.
supply chain. All of those things come together with my team, and we're building solutions and building new capabilities to get better in those spaces.
So in a way, you're kind of one of the people in charge at DHL of the innovation that you're bringing to the operation for
We
the
are.
e-commerce arm of the organization.
Yes,
That's
my
the way
team
to
is
say it.
my team is constantly looking out on the market, talking to our customers, trying to keep a pulse on where everything's going to make sure that we're in a position to support where things are going in the market.
Well, Drew, that's a good lead into our next question, which is what brings you to Manifest, which it sounds like finding some of those innovations, but then what are the things that you're interested in or that you want to check out this year while you're here?
So this is my second year at Manifest. I missed that first year.
Second
I
year.
should,
Oh, man.
I should have been here
Oh,
with
man.
you guys the first time.
You're a rookie.
Yeah,
All
I am a
right.
rookie. Yeah, you could probably teach me a couple things
I
here.
doubt
but
that.
yeah,
I doubt that.
Manifest has been a great opportunity. Why I wanted to come back this year is I have a couple key things I want to do here. One is just that we were talking about. I love all of the new technology, all of the startups that are here because they're solving real problems. problems. And trying to figure out what problems we're facing and what could be fixed with some of the providers here is huge. So it's an opportunity to keep pulse on the ground. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know everything. And I always want to make sure I'm keeping my mind open to new and different things.
Thanks for being honest.
Yeah, this is a good show for me to have that opportunity. I think the second thing that's really important to me is I do have customers here, and this is a great time to network and catch up, see how they're doing. We're obviously at the beginning of the year.
I have a lot of customers
What's
here.
the 2024 plans, and really have an opportunity to talk about that. And I think finally for me is obviously just continuing to connect in the industry and work with folks like yourselves to just kind of continue to talk and see what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's a great show for that, for sure. So I'm curious then, so, with all that as the backdrop to this conversation we've had with you so far, what do you think are the big changes or trends that are going to impact e-commerce supply chains here in the next year, or maybe even the next 3 to 5 years? Well, if you were to place your bets, on which trends would you place your money, Drew?
So that's a great question. I think I can break it into a couple different things. I think I'll start with just generally, for this podcast makes sense, let's talk about omni-channel.
Yeah. I love it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a plug, right?
Yes, great job.
So it's, for omni-channel, it's been going on forever, right? This isn't new. It's not a new trend, right? Normally a trend is something that's new. But the way in that trend is now starting to impact more and more industries. Apparel fashion's been in the omni trend for a long time, but we're starting to see with our customer base, the CPG companies that traditionally have been sending pallets to big box retail, now are starting to play in this world of e-commerce and omni. What do I do? And now I'm selling eaches instead of pallets, and we're really working with a lot of customers today. And I think as we progress out in the future, omni-channel is affecting everybody.
Right.
The B2B buyer now, right? They think about their world of ordering, direct to consumer. In their face now, they're saying, I want that same experience when I'm ordering, my supplies for my facilities, or I'm ordering stuff from my contractors. They want that same digital experience, and we're seeing that across industries, and it's really impacting kind of what we're doing, obviously, to help support them. But that's a big change in the industry.
So what does that look like then in terms of investments that you're making, or where you're spending your time at the show then? Like what tracks are you going to? Like do you have a list, or are you just kind of going with the flow, Drew?
It's a great question. I have things in my mind, but I'm also open to what some of the other tracks are. I think things that are really important to me right now is trying to help find opportunities that help enable e-commerce, especially for a lot of companies we work with. When they're starting to get into it, they don't know what all they need. So how can it make it easier to connect into their web stores or their e-commerce channels? What can we do to help them with last mile delivery and technology to make sure they're getting the right carriers to deliver their product? Those are the things that we're trying to look at to help make it simpler, to really enable really a complex part of their business.
So if you had to make some predictions about what we'll see in 2024,
prediction alert.
Based on what you're here to see, what your partners are here and are interested in and are telling you about, what do you think will be ever present as we kind of go into 2024 in terms of supply chain technology?
Supply chain technology. So I think what's really important is we just kind of set the context of where we're at from an industry perspective, right? We just had a pretty challenging 2023, especially in the omni space, right? Obviously sales were up, but volumes are flat or down. And that really is starting to put a little bit of pressure on the retail landscape a bit. We've been on this like hyper growth path, right? Growing at 20, 30% in the e-commerce space. And then now we've dropped down to like 9, 10%. It's still meaningful growth, but it is not like you're in a race car. And I think what's really important is we kind of get into this new space of more normalization. It's putting these retailers and brands in a position to really what I call rationalize their supply chain. They've put a lot of investment in growth through that growth period. Now they're looking at their assets and trying to understand what should I do differently. So I think when we look out what's happening in 2024, I think there's going to be a lot of push for cost reductions, making sure that we've got really strong places to really reduce last mile costs. So that can take the form of, do I have the inventory in the right place? Am I using the right packaging size to make sure I'm reducing my costs, right? And am I using technology to help me make better decisions on carriers and regions and where to put that? And I think we're going to see a lot more activity in that space.
And the right network design, right? Overall, too. I mean,
huge.
Which is actually a good segue. And so just to remind everybody, we have a great discussion coming up on this very topic about how the CPGs are adapting their supply chain networks coming up in 2 weeks on LinkedIn with Dematic's Kim Bodger. You should all check that out, too. But, all right, well, let's get you out of here on this. What are you most excited about to accomplish in your role this year? Because, you know, you kind of dangled some big matzo balls there in that last answer. It sounds like it's, you know, it's like we've been hearing from everyone. Like it's a year to focus on showing the money in the investments, making sure they work, focus on profitability. What are you excited about within that task?
I love that question. Chris, I love my job, and I have probably the best team
I can
around
tell,
me.
yeah.
So I enjoy what I do, and I think for me, what I'm most excited about this year is just all the capability projects we're working on.
Okay.
We're really trying to address things in the data analytics space. We think machine learning is going to be such a competitive advantage for us. It's helping us operate better in our facilities. It's helping our customers better understand their business. So I'm really excited about the projects we're going to be hopefully launching this year in that space. I think returns and recommerce are going to be a huge component of really our business.
That out too.
And I think we're continuing to evolve and innovate in that space. And I'm really excited again as we continue to push into there. And I think finally, just the fulfillment landscape and all of the automation and technologies that we're putting out there in the facility. It's just really fun stuff. And that's what I most enjoy about my job, is be able to do that.
Yeah, sounds like you were born and bred for logistics,
my
friend.
I don't really know.
Yeah, you might have aspired to it at an early age. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Drew Taranto of DHL Supply Chain, for joining us today. And we will be back shortly with more coverage of Manifest 2024. And until then,
Be careful out there.